Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. An awesome weekend with great football being played at the World Cup. Yes, the World Cup is on. Has been on for about a week. US, Canada, and Mexico as the host nations with great football stuff on display each day since last week. I've seen so many great games, so many very interesting games. US playing a very good game against Paraguay, beating them and showing the world that they may be ready to go far in the tournament. African teams like Morocco holding their own against a great team like Brazil. It was a fantastic performance from Morocco against a team that has won the World Cup 5 times. 5 times, bro. That's an elite team they played against. And for them to perform as well as they did, who knows what will happen this time. But going away from the World Cup, I would like to talk about something that's been happening in Barcelona for the last few days. A conversation that's been a hot topic in Spain, a hot topic in the football world, and even in the EPL. And this conversation is about none other than Marcus Rashford. Guys, to understand how we got here, let me give a little bit of background. At the end of the 2024-2025 season, Barcelona won the La Liga for the first time after Xavi left. That was Hansi Flick's first season in charge, and it was great. We won the La Liga, we won the Copa del Rey, we won the Spanish Super Cup. An awesome season. Even though in the Champions League, we couldn't win it. We fell short in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League against Inter Milan, one of the most painful losses I have ever experienced as a Barcelona fan, but at the end of the day, that season was a great season. Winning all 3 domestic trophies meant progress, and what we needed to do was to strengthen the team for the next level. In doing so, we needed to strengthen the left side of the attack. Rafinha played all through that season and he was awesome, he was amazing. His levels were Ballon d'Or levels, but we needed someone to also complement him, because one of the things we realized was the fact that anytime Rafinha was not available, the level of the team dropped massively. That was how Marcus Rashford's name came up in the list of potential players to come in and do the job at FC Barcelona. At the end of the day, Nico Williams was the player we were distracted by. I'll use the word distracted because that guy wasn't serious, man. He tricked us for the first time, and for some reason, against Laporta's wishes, we got interested again, and he did the same thing again. But I know that chapter has closed, and we finally focused on Marcus Rashford, who was a serious person. Marcus Rashford had pretty much become a persona non grata at Manchester United. Anytime the club struggled, anytime they failed to accomplish their goals for the season, which happened more often, Rashford was one of the people they always blamed. The guy wanted out because he was tired of being made a scapegoat in a team that was generally underperforming. One of the reasons it was easy, very easy to single him out at Manchester United was the fact that he was a very high earner at the club. In 2023, Rashford signed a 5-year contract which earned him £325,000 per week. Per week, bro. Per week. That's a lot of money. When you are earning so much money at a club, a boyhood club, in a period where the club is not doing well at all, you are going to get a lot of flack. I have to say Marcus Rashford was very smart. At every opportunity he had, he talked well about Barcelona, talked well about Lamine Yamal, talked well about the club in general, and in fairness, he got our attention, and our attention amounted to an agreement with Manchester United for a loan deal for a period of 1 year. Many Manchester United fans were pretty much not sad to see him leave, at least temporarily. In fact, some of them were quite elated, quite happy that he had left and had given them space to grow, because in their minds, he was one of the reasons the club had not moved forward. So FC Barcelona got a good deal, Manchester United got a good deal, and Marcus Rashford got a good deal that took him away from England, away from the negativity, away from the criticism, away from the prime press in England, to an environment where it was safe for him, an environment where he had new players to play with, an environment where world-class talents surrounded him, an environment that will enable him flourish in his career. I personally think Marcus Rashford's loan deal to FC Barcelona was hugely successful for him and for the club, especially when you look at it in terms of stats, in terms of data. He scored 14 goals and gave us 14 assists. That is 28 direct goal involvements for FC Barcelona. Any player, any winger who is able to achieve those numbers can beat his chest and say, I did well. And I think it will be right for Marcus Rashford to beat his chest and say same. However, football transfers are not as simple or as straightforward as we think. The fact that a player goes on loan to another club and does well doesn't necessarily mean that player will be retained by the club he was loaned to. Everything boils down to finances, boils down to wages, boils down to ability to accommodate the person's wages in the salary structure, and I think that is where we are with Marcus Rashford. Like I mentioned before, it's not in doubt that Marcus Rashford did well with Barcelona, but I think that the club started thinking about a different approach regarding the right profile they needed on the left, and that was one of the reasons why they signed Anthony Gordon from Newcastle. Okay, see, I'm not trying to compare Rashford and Gordon because I think on a technical level, Rashford is way ahead of Gordon. But for the kind of football we are playing, for the kind of setup the coach wants to implement, I think Gordon fits more compared to Rashford. Marcus Rashford is amazing, but he has limitations, especially when it comes to pressing. He does well when he has ball to feet, when it's close to goal. He does well with free kicks, but when it comes to pressing, when it comes to being physically involved in games, that is where he struggles. Again, when you consider the fact that it will cost 30 million euros to bring him from Manchester United permanently to Barcelona, that is, and 325,000 pounds as a salary per week, I'm not surprised Barcelona said, nah bruv, we ain't doing this, we're going to walk. So right now, Barca has gotten someone on the left wing, and Marcus Rashford is not a priority anymore, even though Barca will still be interested in keeping him because Hansi Flick, like I read, was very pleased with his performance and would like him to be with the team in the coming season. But Manchester United, a club that didn't want the player, a club that said he was one of the reasons why they were not doing well, a club that put the responsibility of failure on him, are not listening to an offer to get him on a lower fee. The condition, however, is that there has to be a renegotiation of the transfer fee from 30 million to something lower, which Manchester United are not willing to listen to. That is the problem. You say you don't want a player, you say the player has high wages, but you're not willing to negotiate to get him out of the club permanently. I don't get it. Bayern Munich were interested in Anthony Gordon but lost out because Barcelona moved fast. But now they are looking at Rashford as a potential replacement. The problem is his wages again. It will be such a shame if he's not able to extend his stay at FC Barcelona at least for another season. He's loved by the players, he's loved by the club, he has delivered in clutch moments, although I think against Atletico Madrid, especially in the Champions League, he fumbled big time. But then again, it is what it is. He's done well. When Rafinha was injured in sometime this season, he came in, stepped up and delivered very good assists and very good goals. There's really no reason why we should not consider this. But the question is his wages. If his wages don't drop, if Manchester United are unable to or unwilling to renegotiate, it is likely the deal will not happen anymore. One thing I like about this whole saga is the fact that Barcelona for once are showing that they cannot be intimidated. They are showing that they have the nerve, they have the balls to make the hard decisions, and refusing to pay 30 million and 325,000 pounds for Marcus Rashford is the right decision, and I support it 100%. And that is why it is important to make the right decisions as early as possible. Barcelona's purchase of Anthony Gordon puts us in a very strong position to negotiate. If it doesn't go well, fine. If it goes well, fine. Rashford needs to put pressure if he plans to stay at FC Barcelona one more season. So what do you think? Should Barcelona still continue to push for Marcus Rashford, or are we right to turn our attention to other players, other targets, other profiles that will strengthen our team and make us more competitive next season? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell and share with your friends, especially Barca fans. It will be awesome to have you on our team as we are building something great here, and we'll be delighted to have you as part of this growing family. I will see you in the next one. Until then, live well, be safe, and Visca Barca.